drag racing fan, Between the Slicks, live, yours truly, the Monday Morning Racer, right here on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, Facebook page, and even Twitter. Even on Twitter. Matter of fact, if you happen to have a Twitter, if you would, go over and follow and retweet this. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the like button and hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button as well and share it with your friends. Definitely want your involvement tonight. Be chiming in, be commenting. Let's talk about drag racing. And the show tonight, I want to mention who we do have as our guest. Looking so much forward to it. Dan Fletcher. I am excited to have Dan. I think, and I count it already as an honor to have Dan on. He has tied Frank Manzo. We have been waiting for this, and it is 105 national event wins. Wow. Just wow. 105 national event wins. So I am looking forward to chatting with Dan. You have your questions ready for Dan, and we're going to have him on around 8:30 or so and talk with the Carolina Nationals champion in, I think it's Super Stock. I think that car is in Super Stock. I'm not sure. He's got a Super Comp dragster. He's got a wagon that he races, and that car, that Camaro, which has a long history, is actually his dad's car. And I know we're going to talk to him about it, but I know he was proud to get win 105 in that car, and I'm sure he is looking to have win 106 in that car. Let me go to the comment section real quick. Stan, what up, MMR? Doing very well, Stan. Thank you for watching along right here. I appreciate it. Top Fuel 173. Hello, Top Fuel 173. Sam, great seeing you at Reading once again. Thank you for watching. And Stan chimes in, thank you for the Monday National vid. Well, Stan, look, with you mentioning it right there, let me bring up the image card and plug MMR just a little bit. Again, so on the YouTube channel, on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, live drag racing content right now, as in Between the Slicks. But I also record drag racing and many other actual forms of motorsports, and I put up this Monday Nationals video. There are actually two from this year. There is a spring edition, and this is the fall edition after the DeWalt Carolina Nationals. And interesting footage. Not that many cars were testing. I was surprised. There were not that many cars testing this past Monday. Last time there were individuals that, we were talking about Force Cars, Tasca, Pro Mod, several Pro Stock cars. This was a lot smaller crowd testing, but that does not mean that it was not important. As you can see, Sean Langdon right there, actually he tested both Coletta Top Fuel cars. They were testing. An interesting individual was also turning the knobs on those cars, maybe to be tuning towards the end of the year, maybe just in his advisory role, we're not sure. But those cars toward the end of the test session were running better. So I'm expecting that the Coletta cars will be far more competitive here in the back half of the countdown as we're winding down. Folks, there's not that many more races left in the NHRA season. There's not that many races left in the PDRA season. Well, every season is beginning to wind down, except for Florida. They're going to be starting to warm up. When everybody goes into off-season, Florida goes into their season, it seems like. And we continue on the racing narrative down there in the Sunshine State. Glad that can take place. But yes, you can see that Monday Nationals video on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. Stan, Aaron Brooks to Coletta. Does that affect the Foley deal? I have no clue. And I'm not sure what's going on with even the Coletta. Was it just, hey, let's help out, let's figure this out, we're going to pay you for the test session? I don't know. I'm not sure. We will see. We will learn. Most time teams don't make press releases like that in mid-season. They only do it toward the end of the season. That's why you had the situation with Doug Foley toward the end of the season. Last race, made the announcement, Aaron Brooks coming on board. I don't know. Silly season, definitely afoot. Justin Ashley, hope you're doing well, man. Folks, watch out for this man in the countdown in that Davis Motorsports gang. They are peaking or beginning to peak. I'm not going to say they have peaked because they have not got that second Wally yet. They have not got that first Wally in 2021 yet, but they could have, they should have, and I think they will before the end of the year is out. And I think Justin Ashley winning in NHRA competition with the countdown is definitely going to raise his stock levels for this championship bid that he does have. Already showed very well in the first two races of the countdown with a final and semifinal appearance. He says here, the best show in all motorsports. Lee, you're the best. I thank you, man. I appreciate that. And look, I appreciate this. The beard is an A+ today. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of the countdown, the NHRA Nitro Circus is rolling into Madison, Illinois. It's technically not St. Louis. It's like right across the Mississippi. If it's just right across, but it's technically Madison, Illinois. So if you stay in St. Louis, you're right there, but you're not at the track. But if you're at the track, you're not in St. Louis, but you're right there. St. Louis has got some great things to offer. There's barbecue. There's the Arch. Go check it out. Very cool. Maybe in this time of the year, catch a baseball game. The Cardinals over there. But great track. I do hope that this year, St. Louis is a bit, more tame. Last year is literally the wildest drag race that I have ever been to in my life. And I thought I had been to some wild ones, but last year was wild. Started out Saturday. We're ready for you to come to the lanes. No, we're not. We're ready for you to come to the lanes. No, we're not. Back and forth, qualifying. Finally get a session in. And you got to remember, that was under the COVID rules. I think there was only the 2 sessions one day, and we get only 1 session in. Roll into Sunday, and what a wild event it was with a pro stock wreck, with either a super comp or top dragster wreck. It fails me, but on the top end, there was a wreck there. Leah Pruitt had her mid-track breakup in the top fueler. Alexis DeJoria had her major boomer in round 1. Tony Schumacher had panels fly off his car. And then in the semifinal matchup he's in, does the burnout. The throttle hangs on the car and pops the supercharger. And that causes Doug Coletta to have to refuel on the line after being shut off. What a bizarre event. I hope there is nothing like that this year for the folks there at Worldwide Technology Raceway Park. We'll continue on that thought. Jeffrey Beck chimes in. I love the glasses. What brand are they? They are Oakley's. Oakley Sutros. They're actually the cheapest Oakleys you can get, but they are definitely still high quality. And they've got several different renditions of it. You can probably tell these have like these ports or vents, and others don't have the bottoms to them of the frame. They're just the lens. Several different options in the Sutros style. Stan chimes in. Pro Extreme at St. Louis Race. Yes, Mountain Motor will be in the house. Definitely want to talk about that. Kyle Lang, head chief starter for the PDRA. And he also works NHRA events. You can see him on the Bob Bodie video that I did from Indianapolis. Kyle is starring in it as well as Bobby Bodie. Stan says, MMR, are you and Sam going to be at Vegas? Plan is that we will both be at Vegas. That is the tentative plan. The tentative plan is also both of us be at Dallas. and also Pomona. So toward the end of the year, we might have a good little strong run of the Competition Plus Power Hour duo making appearances at NHRA national events there, Stan. Look, Stan brought up Pro Extreme, Mountain Motor Pro Stock. Well, they are going to be running at St. Louis. They were there last year. Matter of fact, J.R. Card set both ends of the record in the quarter mile. He's the quickest and the fastest, technically, Mountain Motor Pro Stock, Extreme Pro Stock car that there is. He holds the record in the quarter mile. I think you've definitely got to keep an eye out with notably, the competitors that are there in NHRA trim that also race in Pro Extreme Pro Stock, Extreme Pro Stock in the PDRA, even though there has been a lot of testing going on at Galat Motorsports Park. And by the way, that is the next race for the PDRA. It's going to be at Galat Motorsports Park. Drag Wars, Proline Drag Wars, presented by Modern Race Cars at Galat Motorsports Park. If you've never been to Galat, what a A-class facility it is. Yes, it is only an 8th mile track, but it is an outstanding facility. And if you've never been to a PDRA event, you need to check out the PDRA. It is nothing to sneer or jeer out. Some great competition happens in the PDRA. And you see that white Pro Stock car right there, JR Carr. He is going to be competing out at St. Louis in NHRA trim. Will he be able to bring momentum from that race into the PDRA and tighten up the championship battle in Extreme Pro Stock? He has a dark horse place in the championship run against Chris Powers and Johnny Placino right now. Definitely some great championship battles happening in other categories of the PDRA, though. Let's just go ahead and sign the check for Jim Halsey in Pro Nitrous. With that being said, though, definitely got to be on the lookout. I've got to wonder what is going to happen. You've got Tommy Franklin. Shout out to the owner of the PDRA, Big Chief. Kudos to him. He wins the Shakedown Nationals in the Jungle Rat, from what I understand. But the Jungle Rat was earlier in 632 configuration for his daughter, Amber Franklin. So are we going to see Amber in 632 competition? Will there be a new Tommy Franklin car debuted? What will happen in the PDRA? Those are some of the things that I want answered and I want to see. Are we going to have the Jungle Rat back in Pro Nitrous competition? Will it be in 632 with Amber driving? Will we have the Swamp Thing come out? I mean, what's going to be next for Tommy Franklin? You know that they are itching to find that edge once again back in PDRA competition, Pro Nitrous in particular, because Jim Halsey and company have been definitely getting the job done. Back to the comments real quick. Top Fuel 173. Isn't Pro Extreme like unlimited Pro Mod? Well, Pro Extreme, like in ADRL, yes, that's what would be referred to. In particular, PDRA is Extreme Pro Stock for those cars, and Stan's just alluding to that because that's what they're going to be. They're Mountain Motor in NHRA. It can get a bit confusing. Yes. Tom, good to have you on the show. Stan, yes, ADRL Pro Extreme 8th Mile will be at St. Louis. Yes, when will that happen? I know, man, ADRL has had a rough bout with Noling having the troubles that he has had. James chimes in. Happy Race Week MMR. Happy for Kyle Koretsky that he got his first ever NHRA Pro Stock win. Yes! Shout out to Kyle Koretsky, Kid Chaos. He got it done. Finally. If you're watching, Kyle, I've been saying it a while. He's going to win one. He's going to win one. He's going to win one. Don't be shocked. Thank you. You got it done. Got it done for the whole Koretsky camp, and he lived up to what I've been saying and been rooting for him. Good guy, Kyle is. Give him a follow. American Hot Rod Entertainment says that he loves good championship battles. Definitely does. And folks, check out American Hot Rod Entertainment forward, looking back on great championship battles. He does some great videos there, and he can put it in the link if he's got it already set up. But we're going to be doing another Throwback Thursday watch back type of show coming up right here after Between the Slicks on his channel, American Hot Rod Entertainment. I'm not sure who else is showing up, but I'm going to show up and enjoy. I think it was the 2000 NHRA St. Louis race, as it would have been known there, Gateway. So the Midwest Nationals there. Top Fuel 173 says Worldwide Technology Raceway Park. Posted approach stream will be at the Midwest Nats. Oh, okay, interesting. I have not seen that. I know Mountain Motor will be there, and maybe that's just news I hadn't seen. Interesting that Pro Extreme would be there for an NHRA exhibition format. That is new. I'm surprised to hear that they would allow that. Very interesting, and I hope we see that. I hope it works, and I hope there's no issues and people can experience that. That will be very cool, and the NHRA opening up like that. Well, folks, later on, we're going to have Dan Fletcher on the show. Chat with him winning the NHRA DeWalt Carolina Nationals, notably his 105th win, tying Frank Manzo. How about this? We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive in on points and see who has got a shot and who doesn't have a shot concerning the NHRA countdown. Right after this word from Power-Built Tools. Power-Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power-Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the points situation in NHRA Camping World competition, the professional categories, and we're only going to look at Funny Car, Top Fuel, and Pro Stock because Pro Stock Motorcycle isn't in competition this weekend at the Midwest Nationals. Hey, notably in Pro Stock, Bo Butner is on the entry list at the Midwest Nats as well. Looking forward to seeing Bo Butner, who cannot stay retired, back behind the wheel of a pro stocker. So I'm going to bring up the image card. We'll talk about the points. Look, chime in the comment section. Who are you surprised by that is doing so well in the championship hunt in the countdown? Who are you shocked to see that is not doing that well in the countdown hunt for the championship? And who do you think is going to have the roles reversed? Who do we see on the top right now that might slide back, and who in the back might we see slide forward? Well, let's start off with Top Fuel. There you have the points as they are. Right now, leading the way is Brittany Force, 21 points behind Steve Torrance. Justin Ashley, who's already watching, third in his second year, 74 points behind. Billy Torrance sits fourth. Fifth, Leah Pruitt. Sixth, Mike Salinas. Seventh, Antron Brown. Eighth, Sean Langdon. Ninth, Clay Milliken. And rounding out the top 10 is Doug Coletta, 210 points back. Already just two races into the countdown, rolling into the third event. So concerning Top Fuel, let's see what is in the comments section. Mike Ashley chiming in, most excellent beard. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Stan says, Leah and Antron not doing anything is a surprise. I would agree. I am surprised by that. There are several people that, I mean, honestly, look, I am glad to see Justin Ashley and Davis Motorsports performing like they are, but I don't think many people would have put a lot of money on them being third 2 races into the championship countdown. I think we would have thought Leah Pruitt third. I think we would have thought an Antron Brown third. I think we would have thought Mike Salinas. Where is the performance for those guys this year? They have had a rough time out there in NHRA competition. And then Doug, obviously they've got to figure something out. Because, look, in the testing footage that I got, you can tell they're trying to figure it out. They've got at least a guest tuner coming on board to help in at least an advisory role to get that car rolling, but already 210 points back from out of first place. Mike chimes in, says Antron will be there by the time promoter rolls around. Trust me. Look, I do not disagree. I think that is a team. That would be one of my teams. But though they're farther behind right now, watch them to creep up or explode up. I definitely think there's room in this countdown for a lot of positions to go back and forth. We'll look at Funny Car in just a moment, but Funny Car is a prime example that it can change very, very quickly. And does Billy Torrance show up to every countdown race that remains? How does Billy Torrance perform each and every time he might race against his son, Steve Torrance? A lot of questions there. Definitely surprised by Leah Pruitt's performance. And this is why. Last year, when I was, after each and every national event, having a national event in review style video, you can go back and look at nearly every video, and I praised Leah almost all year long that, wow, look where she is. This team's got something this year. Keep an eye on her. And I really think if it wasn't for that wreck last year at St. Louis, where we're going into this year, this weekend, I really think she would have been a far greater threat for that 2020 championship going into Vegas. This year, it just hasn't, for whatever reason, it hasn't been there. The combination hasn't been there. They have qualified well and not raced well. They've qualified poorly, and it seems like they've raced okay. I'm surprised by that. A lot of things can happen. We still got a lot of racing, a lot of rounds left, though it is winding down. Moves have, I'll put it this way. You need to make a move now. If you are Doug Coletta, if you are Leah Pruitt, if you are Antron Brown, I think you have got to make a move significantly this weekend. We're talking semifinal, final, win the race type of performance. Or we might have to harken back to Mike Dunn in the do and done line and say they're done after this event. If you're like seventh after this event, you might just be done. But remember, if I do recall, Pomona is points and a half there with the Winter Nationals, the finals. Mike, I disagree on Leah. She's focused on the big picture, and I expect her to be a big competitor next year. That may very well be the case, just already focusing on next campaign, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know, example of Foley. Look, quality over quantity. Go ahead and get things in order, and let's be more competitive for next year. I am surprised, though, that Leah didn't get a few more wins this year. I really felt like last year she was in contention. They have the accident, and obviously after an incident like that and going to chassis and switching things around, I get it. That would be hard to come back from. But they did finish third or fourth in points and roll into 2021, and I did expect a little bit more from her and that team. They've just had some rounds not go their way, and there was rounds they could have won Drag racing, it's out there, a professional, competitive sport. Stan chimes in, says NHRA could always reset the points for the top 4 before Vegas like they did the first year of the countdown. Well, I don't think that's going to happen, but that is an interesting format. There are many that argue that we shouldn't even have the countdown. But even as it stands now, I'm pretty sure we'll be going in Pomona wondering who is going to win these championships. So we got about 5 minutes before we have Dan on. Dan's not in studio as of now, but we, again, about 5 minutes away from having Dan Fletcher on Funny Car. Let's take a look at those points. Has Funny Car not been just great this year? You know, for anyone out there that wants to say that NHRA drag racing is boring, or that NHRA drag racing is dead, or that NHRA drag racing is dying, or that fuel cars are not competitive and it's not good racing and all they do is never make it down the track and leak oil, you must not watch Funny Car when they come on TV or when they get to the staging lanes and they start putting the cars in the beams, because Funny Car has been spectacular. Look at this right now. Ron Capps, and look, I admit, I'm pulling for Ron Capps. I'm a Ron Capps fan. I hope Ron Capps gets another one here. Ron Capps leads by 5 points. 10th place is 169 points out, 2 races in. So the order is: first, Ron Capps; second, Matt Hagan; third, John Force; fourth, J.R. Todd; fifth, Cruz Petragon; 6th, Tim Wilkerson; 7th, Robert Height; 8th, Bob Tasca; and 9th, Alexis DeJoria, with 10th being Blake Alexander, going into the 3rd race of the countdown. And look at the top 5. The top 5 is only separated by 52 points. 6th and 7th are tied, and they're only 72 points back. And even 9th place does not have a 3-digit number. Alexis DeJoria is only back by 97 points. Definitely, NHRA Funny Car right now can still have some major shifts and shakes in it going down into Pomona. Stan says Tasca has been off during the countdown. Surprisingly, Tasca, I want to say this, since Epping, since his hometown race, which obviously going into the hometown race, you hope that you win. It doesn't seem like the performance has quite been there as it was earlier in the year. And right now, they need to find something. Definitely they've got a car, and they definitely got a team that can do it. So keep an eye out on them, because things have switched and things have changed so much in NHRA Funny Car competition. But Tasca would be one of those that I am shocked by. I figured he would be in top 5 in points right now, top 3 in points right now with the performance that he showed earlier in the year. You have to add James Campbell. He's in the countdown. Yes, he is in the countdown, and what I just showed is not indicative of just who is. It's only the top 10. Technically, yes, James Campbell is in the countdown, but he has even less points, and I can only fit so many on the window, and just showing the top 10. Not doing no do or done line right now, but I think they would be done and not competitive for the championship. Top Fuel 173. The thing with the countdown, it takes one race to ruin your whole championship run. That's true. You know, in the NASCAR world, they like to have their mulligan race, you'll say, their bad race early. Get it out of the way, and you're done with it. Well, I think that would be the case also in NHRA drag racing. Get it out of the way early and hope that you're able to make up for it. But yes, you don't want to have any issues at all. One race can definitely hurt you. It's high pressure. It's high stakes for sure. And in funny car right now, I imagine all those guys have ulcers or something. It is, whoo, wow. Pro Stock, real quickly, because we do have Dan Fletcher in studio, so we'll get him on in just a few moments. Pro Stock, another class that has been so exciting this year. So much to follow and to say. The rookies that are performing well, the young drivers that are performing well, the standbys and the goats performing well, the blows going back and forth. Right now, Greg Anderson leads the way. Erica Enders is 65 points behind. Kyle Koretsky jumps up to third. Dallas Glenn, fourth. Aaron Stanfield is fifth. Sixth, Troy Coughlin Jr. Seventh, Matt Hartford. Eighth, Mason McGahey. Ninth, Derek Kramer. And then 10th is Chris McGahey. Folks, right now it is shaping up in Pro Stock where we just might get that epic Greg, Erica, all the way to Pomona showdown. We just might get that. What is Sam saying? Sam, it was great to see Kyle get his first win last weekend. I really want Greg to win the championship this year. It was great to see Kyle get his first win. And on Greg getting the championship, well, I don't really, in a fan sense, have a horse in this race. Definitely a fan of Erica Enders. I'm more of a fan of Greg Anderson than I ever have been after interviewing him and interacting with him. I just want to see a good battle all the way to the end. Like, I hope it comes down to Pomona and the final. And I don't mean the finals as in like the final rounds of elimination. I mean the final of the year in the final race decides the championship. I hope it goes down to that. What a great story that would be. And yes, I would like to see it be Erica, Greg, Mr. Anderson, Miss Enders. Final round, final race, Pomona, everything on the line. Red car versus blue car. Elite versus KB. Epic. I hope. We can only hope. Top Fuel 173. If Greg wins the championship, Facebook is going to have a meltdown because for some reason people hate him. Look, we got to get to Dan. I got to get Dan on. But to your point, Top Fuel 173, yes, for whatever reason, a lot of folks are not a Greg Anderson fan. I think people take his work ethic and see that demeanor as being standoffish or not a people person, and that's not the case. If you really watch closely in the pits, he will interact with fans. He will sign. He continues to work, though, and he is a workaholic. But what my interactions with him and interviewing him, pretty cool dude, good stories, better interview than you might think, for sure. Well, there's the points. There's the first half of the show. Let's now take the time and go into the second half of the show. Let me cue up this intro video for Dan Fletcher. Going to have him on right after this video. Let me say, I have been waiting to have this show with Dan for a while now. I met Dan in 2020. He just had Strut Masters put on the car, and I'm working for Strut Masters. So I go meet him at Pomona, and he's been waiting, and it's been far worse for him. But I've been waiting. I've been kind of trying to keep my eye on Dan Fletcher. Like, is he going to the finals, or is he going to the finals in this car? Is he still in? Like, I didn't get to see him at Maple Grove, but I knew where he was parked. I knew when he was in the staging lanes, and I also knew when he packed up early. And I'm like, didn't meet Dan this time. And I happened to be filming the finals there at ZMAX. And I'm coming out of the stands, and there's that orange Camaro. And I'm like, I wonder if it's their finals, because the way things get moved around so much for the Sportsman guys, it's hard to keep track of when their finals or semifinals or even when their rounds are. So I walk up, I ask Dan if it's his finals. He's like, yeah. I'm like, look, I'm going to film it. He's like, good. And sure enough, able to film the 105th win for Dan Fletcher, tying Frank Manzo. So this brief introductory video and Dan Fletcher on afterwards. In that moment, red light in the far lane, Dan Fletcher tied Frank Manzo with 105 national event wins. A drag racing NHRA Sportsman legend. He completes the run, and with an elapsed time of a 10:41, just over 100 miles per hour at 102, Dan Fletcher is the NHRA DeWalt Carolina Nationals champion, and we now have him live on Between the Slicks. Dan, well, it's about time, man.
No kidding, right? I agree 100%.
Well, again, look, congratulations. Last time I saw you, you were enjoying your Michelob Ultra in the staging lanes to take all the good photos for winning the race, and I'm sure you're still on the high of getting this done. It has been a long time, man. And look, I know. Look, we want to talk about the journey. We want to talk about the win, but before we go any further, I do want to ask about the sponsor on your door, because Strutmasters is kind of smaller and over to the side. So kind of a new primary now. Talk to us about that primary and what they do and how did it all work out getting them on the car this year.
Well, I'm certainly thankful for Chip's support last year. He's a great man that helps out a lot of little guys. This year, Anthony Bongiovanni at MicroStrategies. It's a IT company. They do a lot of security sort of things, business solutions, whatever. Anyone that has any sort of business with computers, just bottom line, which is everyone, right? Everyone has a business with the computers. Anthony's company can help you. I'm super blessed to have him. I mean, if it wasn't for him, honestly, I don't know if I'd still be doing this year. But with Anthony's help, MicroStrategies, ATI is the primary on my other cars. Anthony's primary, MicroStrategies on my dragster and on my bracket car on my wagon. But Mickey Thompson and Strutmasters, ATI, Denzo, VP. Don't mean to be that guy to just call it out, but if I did not have those sponsors, I would not be doing this anymore. So it was great to get it done for them. It's been a kind of like a joke that I haven't won a race. And like last year was like the lost year. The year before that, had a couple runners-ups. Last year I was runner-up in Indy. But it was super satisfying to finally get one done here last week at ZMAX.
Yeah, man, the journey to this one in particular, and like I said, I've been able to watch from afar. I might not have made it to your pit every single event, but I'm like, oh, is Dan in the lanes? Let's see what round. Oh, semifinals. Let's watch. Oh, Dan's out, and whatever it might have been, and been watching you and trying to keep track, and it worked out at ZMAX. But the first time I met you, Pomona, I want to bring it up. People tend to think, I feel like they think that because you're not in a fuel car, because you're not in a pro stocker, because you're not in a pro mod, that it's not as serious as those classes. And I feel from the times I've interacted with you and some other sportsman racers that the competition at the level in super stock and super gas and super comp is even more intense, and you guys are even more serious than some of the guys that get the nice pit stalls with asphalt under them. So talk to me about your passion for the sport and just how competitive it is in the lower ranks of the NHRA.
Yeah, well, dude, there's no doubt. I mean, myself and my peers, we all put our heart and soul into this. I mean, it's for me, it's my living, so it's a little bit. I'm a little bit more over the top than some of the other guys, maybe. But everyone that runs sportsman classes, they work on their cars all week. I mean, they prepare their motorhome and their trailer and their this, and they plan their schedule. And like my son Timothy right now is at Virginia at the points meet. You know, I mean, you wash your truck, wash your trailer, prep the cars, load everything, go to Harris Teeter's, not Wegmans anymore, Harris Teeter's. Go to Harris Teeter's, buy your stuff, get all prepared, go there, pay your entry fee, get parked in the mud because it's raining, whatever, endure all the things. And there's a lot of guys that are there, to just hang out and have a good time, but they still want to win. And there's a lot of guys that are there to win, period. And if they don't win, it eats them up. It eats them up the whole next week. And sportsman racers are, dude, they're the bomb. I mean, they're the backbone of the entire sport. And pro guys, sure. That's what NHRA straps their buggy to. That's what, their TV show, whatever, and yada, yada. But a sportsman racer, that's a grassroots guy. I mean, that's a guy that eats it, lives it, breathes it. It's not just, flies in, drives a fuel car, doesn't really care, goes into his hotel, whatever. I mean, sportsman guys, they are it, dude. They are the sport. And I wish that sometimes, and I'm not saying they all don't, but I wish sometimes some of the upper management of the sport would recognize how vital and important sportsman racers are.
I agree with you there, Dan. And I know that the television broadcast was done by the time your final ran, but I do hope that in this Midwest National event coming up, that they will showcase your final some way, somehow, and mention that you tied Frank Manzo. And I do want to talk about the win just in a moment. Let's talk about the weekend. Was there anything about this weekend going into it, this past weekend, that felt different? You felt like you were going to win, or were you going into this weekend like, man, here I go again? I'm going to put it out another race and not get it done? So what was your mentality going into this race?
Dude, as a sportsman racer, as a bracket racer, there's so much just luck involved. I mean, I know it sounds contrite, and I say it all the time, but there's so much luck involved. We had been on the road. We had left for the Columbus Fling, the Summer Fling, Peter Biondo, Kyle Seipel's event in Columbus. We were there for a week. Then we went to Indy. Then we went to Maple Grove. Then we stopped home for a day or two. Then we eased down to Charlotte. Nothing different. I mean, I'd been struggling, obviously. We all know I've been struggling, right? Haven't won a race in a while. But I've looked back at how I'm driving, what I'm doing, what do I need to change. I ultimately decided I'm doing everything right. It's just not working, So I rolled into Charlotte, not confident, not really expecting things to go my way because they haven't been going my way. But there they went my way. And I mean, I drove okay there. I didn't drive badly. I had one really super lucky round. I'm 40 when I let go against Anthony Bertozzi, which should be a death sentence, second round. And I knew I'm terrible late when I let go. And my win light jumped on. And I'm like, oh, God, Anthony's going to be mad. He's going to be mad. So there's so much luck involved. It's just the way it is. I had several red lights. I had a bye run. I had literally one race I had to win. And my opponent missed a tree a little bit. I didn't. I was on him. Wop, 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 wop. Get there. And that was the end of it. It's so much luck involved, dude. As my kids would say, it's all how you park. It's all how you pull into the lanes. It's laddered in NHRA, but it's so much luck involved. Just so much luck. So nothing different going into ZMAX. Just finally, the good Lord blessed us, and we had a win. That's all. Simple.
Did you see the red light, or did you think the whole way through you were still under, like competitive guys, as it were, and you got to play the end, whatever?
No, you let go. Car goes up in the air, comes down. You look up at the boards. Oh my God, my wind light's on. Get to the 8th mile, click it, coast, save parts, whatever. And no, it's always good to look up early and see your wind light on. Doesn't happen a lot, but it was good to see it right then.
You got it done. You got it that time for sure. And I know it had to feel good to do it in that car in particular. I know you love all your cars, but that one has a special place from what I understand.
Sure. Oh yeah, no, to win it, to tie Frank Manzo in my dad's car was just super great. That was awesome. I mean, and clearly, I'd like to think I'm going to win another race sometime when I go past Frank to be second in the all-time win list behind only John Force. I certainly hope it's in my dad's car, But it was pretty cool. In the winner's circle, Frank came up. I've known him forever, obviously. And he came up and we took a picture. He's like going – in the picture, he's going to my wife, this is 210 right here, 210, between us, 210. He's a character.
Very cool. Yeah, wow. I mean, hopefully, you're tied right now, and I'm sure you're going to surpass him by at least that one eventually. It would be cool.
More than one, dude. Come on.
I mean, hey, I hope, but I hope for you, but I know you're going to get at least one.
Yeah.
But it would be very cool for them to call up John Forrest, get him on a scooter, and get down to Victory Lane and get all the three of y'all together, and that would be like 400-something wins or something in one photo. It'd be an insane amount. So, again, what a great career you've had. It's not done yet either. You still have got a lot of drag racing left in you for sure. What does it look like for you now? You're not running every NHRA national event, from what I understand. There's so much big money bracket racing out there. What does the future look like for Dan Fletcher Racing? I know your son's involved, and what's it look like?
Well, we moved to North Carolina the better part of a year ago, which has been just awesome. Just totally awesome. We live in a Clayton, Selma area. We're 33 miles from Galat, which is like the greatest little track in the entire world. It's only 90 miles to Piedmont, 140 miles up to VMP. That's where Timothy is right now. Super great area. Lots of great bracket racing. So, like I told you where I'd been the last couple weeks. This week, I'm considering sliding up to Virginia on Saturday morning to run the second race of the points meet. Probably won't. We're probably going to leave Sunday morning and go to Virginia to Bristol for the fall fling race there. I'll take the wagon up there to bracket race at that. It's like warm-up races 15, then 25, 100, 25. Super good money. Great race. The best series out there, the fling events. The weekend after, I'll go to Virginia, VMP. They got 10, 20, 10, 2 hours up the road. The next week is the Bristol Fall Fling, the Bristol National NHRA race. We'll go up there with 3 cars, race that one. Beards races at Piedmont, the end of the month in November, the week before Thanksgiving. There's just so much racing to be had down here. It's like, don't think me speaking out of bed, but it's like an orgy. It's everywhere. Just pick where you want to go for 5 or 10 or more. It's just crazy. So what's going to hold the future for me, as long as I'm blessed to still have sponsors that can keep me doing this, probably 10 national events a year, a couple divisionals, and a lot of good bracket races that are all live streamed. They're super popular. There's value there for sponsors, and just gonna enjoy the close proximity to events and just try and go out there and turn on win lights.
Speaking of win lights, Stan chimes in. He wants to do some reminiscing with you. He says, Dan, do you remember your utterly dominant performance at Vegas in comp in the late 2000s? He says, I think you won like 5 or 6 or something like that. So talk to me about that period, Stan chiming in on it.
We had a pretty good run in comp. I mean, comp, like all the classes, there's so much luck involved. I mean, and I won the championship in comp, I think I don't know, I won twice in super stock, once in comp. I think we won comp in like 2008 or so, maybe 9, but whatever. And, Vegas treated us good. I mean, it was super good. We won a lot of races there. But it's just like comp is so, I mean, all the classes you need luck, but comp you really need luck. You can have a good car, be a good driver, qualify in the right spot, but if your opponent makes, a good run, you get used up first round, blah, 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 whatever. It's super, there's just so much luck, dude. I swear to God, we should just all leave our race cars home and flip coins. I mean, you'd be way better ahead.
Welcome to the quarter flipping championships.
Right. Well, they put friggin' cornhole on TV. Why can't they put coin flips?
Yes. Cornhole is on TV and has major sponsors. It is amazing.
Right. No kidding. Right.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Which I have heard though, that the Elite versus KB Racing cornhole tournaments after the actual racing are rather intense. So there might be something out there. Maybe the NHRA needs to start its own cornhole league, pit to pit, and film that.
Probably could. They probably could.
Definitely. With this win, all the wins you've had, a lot would ask what else is on the table for you. And look, I get it. You're a very competitive person. It's still go out there and win, get more wins, and still establish what you're doing and do it for yourself, if not anyone else. But you made a statement to me. I cannot recall what national event it was. I think it was actually Indy, one of those like 4 Indies that we had last year.
Right.
That you were still in it, but your son had gone out, and you were kind of like, I'm kind of bummed on it. And that, my boy's out. It's kind of like, oh, okay, let me go do my thing. What's it like being, a proud parent, seeing your offspring do good in the sport that you've done so well in?
Well, it's great to see him do good in the sport, but to your point there, when they lose, Thomas isn't racing with me right now, whatever, but Timothy is, and when they lose in front of me or when they lose, period, it just, pardon my frankness, kicks my balls right through my throat. I mean, where I just want to curl up in the corner and die. When they lose, it's just devastating to me. It's just devastating. It just crushes me. I mean, I would trade my wins for theirs, I mean, every time. You always want to see your kid do good, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. But it's like when they're racing, and again, Thomas isn't racing with me right now, but that's the way it is. But Timbo is. And, there's times where we run minutes apart and I'll be behind him. And when he loses literally like 2 minutes ahead of me, it just crushes me. But you got to put it together and go up there and do your job, right? I mean, and that whole day I might feel like my balls are kicked through my throat, but the next day I'll be better after it's over. So like this weekend at Charlotte, Timbo was driving great. In the stocker, he was in 1 car, I was in 2. He was driving super good. And he lost Saturday night, made a bad run, lost to Brad Ploward. And it was super devastating. But, he was man enough to, ask me if it was okay. And I said, of course it is. And he packed his shit up and hauled ass to a Galot for the next day. No time runs, picked up the other car, rolled in there, 1 foot brake the next day. And that's like, I won my 105th national event. I was more happy he won foot brake at Galot. No kidding.
Dan, look, love your passion, man, for your kids, for racing, for them in racing. It's refreshing to see and to experience. Well, Stan chimes in. He asks you, I think you'd be a great person to ask this and get your opinion on it. Do you see a day when NHRA combines stock and super stock into one category?
No, no chance. No chance. I mean, stock is no longer stock, but it's still not super stock. So no, they're always going to be separate classes. And to me, I run super comp, I run super gas, I run top dragster. But to me, stock and super stock are the grassroots classes, especially stock, really. So no, they're always going to be separate. And they're going to be guys with a passion for, well, like Timbo again today, not to keep referencing him, but he's at Richmond. And I got home from where we were, Charlotte, right? Got home on Monday. I had to fly home to New York on Tuesday. And right before I was leaving for the airport, I knew he was leaving. I'm like, heck, it's gonna be cold there, way better conditions, blah, blah, blah. And I went and changed it's quadrideck car, went and changed a hanger in the thing or the metering rod in it. And I didn't do something exactly right. Up there was rain today, only one time run. Car made a bad run, whatever. So now I'm on the phone with him, and a friend of ours, Ken Hanley, went over to help him, blah, blah, blah. But stock eliminator, an old car with a quadrijet, a new car with fuel injection, they're their own animal, and they're going to be separate from super stock, I would say, in my opinion.
And for clarification, the orange Camaro, what class is that? Which one did you actually win in?
My dad's car, the orange Camaro is my dad's car. That's a super stock car, and that's what I won in was super stock. The other car, the white car, the other 69 is what I call my car. My dad's car he bought brand new, drove it home, been a race car its whole life. My car I've had since I was 15, and that's my car, the soccer. So.
All right. Now, we do have someone, Joe. Joe's a big drag racing fan. I see him at a lot of national events and other outlaw events. Interesting question here, I think. I haven't heard anyone really ask this with you. You're so associated with NHRA and might very well get that answer. He says, how many IHRA national and divisionals has Dan won? So any IHRA back in the day?
Yeah, no, I honestly, I'm embarrassed to say I couldn't tell you. My friend Scooter that runs IHRA would probably be able to let me know that. But I've won, I'm going to guess probably I would guess probably about 20 IHRA national events would be my guess. And I could be wrong. It's probably not more than that. It could be 5, 6 less, but I would guess 20.
What are your total career wins, Dan? Yes. I mean, we know the national event number, but is it like what round ball, ballpark figure 250, maybe 200? What do you think?
If you're talking about local bracket racing and everything, whatever, I'm probably I don't know, 250, 300, I guess. I honestly couldn't even fathom an intelligent response. But I would think certainly, well, I mean, if I got 105 NHRA ones and probably 40 divisionals and, yeah, probably 300, 350 maybe, I guess, 350, let's say.
Folks, can you imagine winning so much that you can't remember the number? Wow. Wow.
Dude, I'm old. I started winning when I was 16. That was 40 years ago. Come on.
No, man. Look, Dan, what a great career you've had thus far, and look, so much more still ahead of you, I'm for sure. And look, I hope for you that you do not have a long wait compared to this 105 and 106 comes really, really quickly. Really quickly. Mopar Man chimes in and says that he met you at the Winter Nationals years ago, was very impressed with you as a competitor and a gentleman as well. So yeah, the fan base that follows the Sportsman racers, because I have encountered fans who in fact go to the track for the Sportsman racing and they don't really care at all for the big fuel cars and the pro stockers. Can you talk to me about the hardcore fans that watch you guys and interact with you guys and come get your autograph and what they're like, possibly even compared to the generic general fan out there in the NHRA?
Dude, don't take it the wrong way, but you say you've encountered, this one or that one. There's lots of them. There are lots of people. And I swear to God, sometimes I don't think the suits at NHRA realize that there are so many people that really love Sportsman racing. I mean, no joke, dude. I mean, obviously more people care about John Force than me. I get it. But there's a lot of people that really love Sportsman cars, specifically stock and super stock cars. So many people they come up to me that tell me, my dad or my uncle or my cousin or someone I knew had a 69 Camaro and this and that. They can identify with my car. They can identify with Sportsman racers. They can identify with, a lot of different pro things. I mean, I get it. The pros are the show. That's a TV deal, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of people that really dig Sportsman cars. A lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Camaro. I mean, man, when it launches. It's up in the air, and it's a cool thing, man. I mean,
dude, who doesn't like a wheel standing 69 Camaro against a Hemi Cuda? Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe a new Copo against a new Mustang, and just there's so much vibe to Sportsman cars with all the different shows of classic cars, muscle cars, this and that. I mean, there are so many. I sat on a plane last night coming home. I had to go to New York to go see my tax man and come back. And I'm sitting next to a guy, and he's telling me about this, a 71 Mustang, whatever he bought, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, and the kid next to him, honest to God, I'm not lying. The kid to the window was playing a drag racing game on his phone before we took off. We were grounded for a while on the tarmac. I'm like, I looked over and I said, dude, I don't often see people playing with, a drag racing game on their phone or whatever. And he said, well, I only get this one and like some other one with no data or something. So that kind of took the buzzkill out of it. But I was like, well, that's cool. A lot of people don't really know it's a niche sport, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy in the middle is like, well, I got this Mustang and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's cool. And he says, what do you do? I said, well, I drive race cars. So it's kind of funny, Yep. I showed them my pictures of my cars, and they're digging it,
Did you happen to take the phone from the kid and show him actually how to win? That's what I want to know.
No, I didn't. I'd probably been embarrassed. I'm sure he could have waxed my ass. So.
All right. Well, Dan, look, definitely want to get toward the end, wrap up, let you go do whatever you've got to do. Thank you for your time. Look, man, honestly, I am surprised that you haven't been on any other shows this week. I'm like, I got Dan all to myself. Like, come on, Joe, make a phone call. Brian, make a phone call. Come on.
I'm thinking Costello's waiting until I get past Manzo. So.
Oh, see, no. Well, look. You tell Joe when you get past. I got to go on Monday Morning Racers Between the Slicks first, Joe.
I'll let him know.
Well, I want to ask this. You're a great guy to ask because I never was able to get any contact information for the guy, and I don't even remember his name. But Southern Nationals this year, first time in 10 years, a door car wins Super Comp.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Chuck Trotter.
Yes, there we go. Chuck Trotter. Yep. Congratulations to him. So why had it been that long? Like, why do dragsters have such an edge apparently in Super Comp compared to door cars?
Well, just a car, because a door car generally isn't going to run 185 miles an hour like a general dragster is. So it's just not the right tool for the job. It's like, trying to win super stock running a 12 flat car. It's way harder to come, to have to turn over your shoulder and look that hard. So just, door car isn't the right tool. Knife, butter fight, whatever, yada, yada.
Okay. Okay. So we got a few other fan questions, and we'll begin wrapping up with that. Top Fuel 173, a loyal watcher of Between the Slicks, says, Dan, do sportsman racers really get mistreated at national events like they say they do? So let's get down to the nitty gritty. What are some things that you'd like to see NHRA do a little better for you guys?
Well, just be honest. I mean, a lot of times, dude, it doesn't take a lot to treat a customer right? And I think that they're trying to do better. Sometimes they don't do better. Parking, that it doesn't take a lot to make a guy happy, right? I mean, when you go to the races, just park us in a timely fashion. Don't make us sit online all day long. This weekend, and I know that the whole deal's the pro show and the TV show, but we were up there for the semifinals. Pardon me. We were up there for the semis on a Sunday. So it was supposed to be after second round of pros. The bike guy crashed bad. Hopefully he's doing good. I see he kind of is, right? They had all the Sportsman cars assembled on the one side of the track ready to go. And there were some delays, whatever. And then next thing you knew, on the other side of the track, top Sportsman, top dragster comp got moved out of the way, and they pulled the pro cars through. They never even came over and said anything to us. We had no idea what's going on, right? They pulled us up there. Now, granted, I'm not the first guy in the lanes, right? I sat in my trailer. I had a single at 3 cars, and it wasn't that far away. I sat in my trailer, but I'm riding my scooter up there, checking out what's going on. They were the guys that didn't leave had to sit up there 2 hours with no communication from NHRA. I don't think it would have been that difficult to have informed the poor guy working the lanes that had no idea to come over and say, they're going to run the pros, blah, blah, blah. We just had to see it happen in front of us to recognize what's going on. Communication, dude. Anything in life, right? Communication with your kids, your wife, your boss, whatever. Communication. Just don't treat me like a douche. I mean, just
right.
If we're all up there. Everyone was up there in line. I might not have been. Everyone's up there. They called them up there way early because they want you there at their beck and call, which I get. Whatever. When it's time to go, they want you there. So everyone went. And then they sat, and then they pulled pros again. And no one even freaking told you nothing. That kind of stuff, rubs me the wrong way. That's all. Just little things, dude. Parking, like I say, the deal with parking, they don't have, they've cut a lot of staff. They're a business that's struggling like we all are. I get it. They've cut a lot of employees. They don't have a lot of staff to park you and take care of you. Well, it's $340 an enter, bro, when you roll in there. We rolled into Charlotte with 3 cars. I'm stuck over $1,000 in entry fee. I expect a given level of service for my investment. Sometimes you don't feel like you got it. So, but it's NHRA is the premier level of the sport. That's where my sponsors pay me to be, and that's where I'm going to be. I will say I think they could do better, but that's life, right?
Right. Look, I'm sure you all would have rather spent that time in your pits instead of. Right.
I did.
Yeah. And not to mention, I mean, the staging lanes at ZMAX. ZMAX is the premier drag strip. They got everything right. I feel like, except the staging lanes. They're like the most narrow.
They're a little short too. They're a little short. Yeah.
Yes. And they're, one side is downhill, the other is kind of uphill. It's not as bad as Maple Grove, but you need to bring a chalk block with you or something.
Right.
If you're up there. And
dude, I'll never complain about ZMAX though. I'll never complain about ZMAX. The greatest track ever. And they certainly have enough security there. I can tell you that much.
Ooh, Dude, I mean, I got popped 6 times to show my credentials. It was insane.
Yeah, no, there's about as much security as there was fans. There's no doubt.
Yes, that's sure. So another individual asked earlier, winding down here, that what about contingency? What does contingency programs look like today? I'm sure they're less than they were, but what do they look like?
Not near as good, obviously, and that's just the way it is. I used to have the better part of 60 decals. I think when I went on Sunday, it's probably like 27. So that's pretty sad, but it is what it is, you know. I mean, you know that when you go there. So terrible.
That's definitely changed. Yes, definitely changed. You know, you look at, I think one of the motorsports that is the most apparent in, even more than drag racing, is NASCAR. They used to have contingency all over. Now there's nothing around that front tire.
Yeah. Well, company, you know the deal. I mean, companies, and again, fortunately, I'm super blessed that I have sponsors that still recognize the value in on-track presence, a brick and mortar store that's there representing to the people, as opposed to just, you know, online or, you know, social media thing, which, I mean, social media is a big part of my thing now. I mean, I know that. I get it. You know, we try and do the best job we can with it. But, you know, like when I lost Peak, and I probably told you this a couple of years ago, when I lost Peak, they had a management change, and they can send a case of antifreeze to some YouTuber and get however many hits and whatever, and they feel that's a better utilization of funds. And I realize that it's all about reach and, you know, whatever. I'm no marketing genius, but fortunately for me, I still have a man like Anthony and MicroStrategies and ATI, JC Beatty there, VP and Denzo, Mickey Thompson, Peak, Holly, all these companies that still believe in a small guy like me out there doing a job, you know, just trying to work hard and represent and do his thing and try and win races. Not as much as they did before, but they're still working at it.
Well, I give you credit, Dan. I know that at least with Instagram, you do a good job there. I see the tags and the mentions to the Strutmaster page regularly. So keep up the good work there. Look,
well, that's my daughter.
Someone's doing a good job, Dan. Someone's doing a good job. Cool. Well, look, last question for you, and one reason why I'm bringing this up because I love the YouTube handle, Otis B. Driftwood. That's just awesome. He asked, any chance of doing the Western swing in the future, Fletch? So, gonna swing it anytime soon?
You never say never, but for right now, I mean, I'm hunkered down here in North Kakalaki, and we're gonna run like our 10 national events in this region. I'm sure someday again, honestly, I will do it again, but it's not in the cards in the next year or two.
All right. Dan Fletcher, thank you for being on the show tonight. And I'm so glad it worked out for me. I'm coming down the stands and I'm like, that's Dan. I wonder if that's his final. And it worked out. So that was a cool deal. Cool deal, man.
Right on. All right, Lee. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, buddy. See ya.
All right, folks, that was Dan Fletcher, tied second all time with Frank Manzo, 105 wins. Only one more than them is John Force himself. And I'm sure that he is going to take, and I hope it's soon, 106 second all by himself sooner than later. Well, folks, thank you for watching Between the Slicks live right here on Monday Morning Racer, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be sure to follow on the Twitter account and like the Facebook page. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be jumping off here soon, and I'm going to be going over to American Hot Rod Entertainment on YouTube, and we're going to be having a Throwback Thursday watchback of the 2000 NHRA national event at Gateway, St. Louis, over on his channel. So join me over there, American Hot Rod Entertainment, for a look back into drag racing history and just enjoy the round-by-round action of that particular event. Thank you all. Mopar Man says, great show, great guest. Yes, sir. Definitely agree. Joe Morrison, top field driver. Hashtag legendary. That is certainly the case with Dan Fletcher. All right, folks. You all take care. And until next time, God bless and keep the pedal to the metal. Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.